Welcome to the Water Trough, where we can't make you drink, but we will make you think. My name is Ed Drozd, the Small Business Doctor, and I'm really excited you chose to join me here as we discuss topics that are important for small business folks just like you. If you're looking for ideas, inspiration, and possibility, you've come to the right place. Join us as we take steps to help you create the healthy business that you've always wanted. Welcome back to the Water Trough. This is Ed Drozd, the Small Business Doctor. As business owners, we tend to have this nasty habit of thinking that we can do everything by ourselves, we can do everything alone. And of course, if that were the case, we wouldn't be hiring employees to help us out, except for those of us that are solopreneurs. But the idea of doing things alone is rooted in the fact that we have this sense of proprietariness about what we are doing. We're business owners, we're proud of that. We believe that we should be capable of doing things, not asking for help. And that is a significant challenge. Very few of us have the capability of doing everything that needs to be done. We may lack any of a number of resources, whether they be human, intellectual, or otherwise, and as such, we'll possibly miss out on tremendous opportunity if we stick to the notion that we should do it by ourselves. And that's what my story is about here, my own experience when I was starting out self-employed in 1996. Let me start out by saying that I'd never had any plans of becoming self-employed. That was not part of my future. And when the time came, abruptly as it did, I was completely caught off guard. My training and preparation prior to that time really depended upon me being in a variety of roles and growingly into a leadership role, but not in a position where I would be also responsible for managing the business components. My first self-employed engagement was that of a project manager, and in this capacity I had no employees working with me. I had a very well-defined project that I was asked to complete. The deliverables were identified, the project plan had previously been prepared, and for a period of 10 months, I basically went ahead and did my job, after which I found myself with a very fat wallet. I didn't have to worry about the benefits. My wife had those, so things were quite great. But the last day of that project, as I bid farewell to the project team that I had worked with, I realized that I had no idea what a pipeline is. I didn't know what it was, and certainly didn't know what it meant to have a full one, because the concept of being a salesman had never entered my mind. In fact, I always fashioned myself as one who does not like to sell, incapable of selling for that matter. But yet it dawned on me, if I'm not able to sell that which I have to offer, how can I possibly succeed in this role as a self-employed individual? It was pretty clear to me that no matter what I thought I was capable or incapable of doing, I could not do this alone. Selling is simply not going to happen for me. I'm not going to be able to do it effectively. And yet, if I'm going to remain self-employed, which I've only now done for less than a year, I'm going to have to come up with some alternative. And for myself, that came in the form of the strategic alliance. I figured that there had to be people out there who were providing project management work in the healthcare industry, the kind of work that I had just been doing, and yet they probably could use more resources to get the job done. They were finding the opportunities, they were selling the engagements, but perhaps needed more resources to get the job done. And that's essentially what I did. I aligned myself with a company that was providing project management services in the healthcare industry, offering myself as an experienced project manager, and able to do those things to hit the ground running without any hesitation whatsoever. I was able to bypass the need for sales, which was not my forte, and during that time, which lasted for several years, I was able to acquire the skills to run the back end of my business. Now, I never really did become a salesperson, by the way. That wasn't my destiny. I'm not a salesperson to this day. My concept of selling is not the same as most. I base my selling on the law of attraction, using things such as this podcast, my blogs and newsletters in the past, and a variety of other means of getting my name and my thoughts out there to draw people to me. My intent was that if people were able to have an idea of how I think and the things that I can do, that they would find it of interest to work with me. Now, that, of course, wasn't so important as a project manager. That came into play when I'd gone back from my certification as a business coach. But to this day, that is the principle that I use to be able to get the word out there about myself and to be able to draw customers in. The bottom line is this: each of us has certain capabilities and talents. I happen to be a solopreneur. It's just me. I don't have any employees. I do all the work. I do the back end. I do the front end. I do everything from soup to nuts. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that I work in a mega business here. I don't. And that's perfectly fine by me, by the way. But here's the thing. That which I'm capable of doing, I do. That which I have the time to do, I do. Those which I have the interest in doing, I do. But if I don't have any of these pre-qualifiers in place, I have historically always sought a strategic alliance with someone who has the capacity to do these things, and who for, in turn, I can offer something as well. And that's exactly what I did early on here. They say that necessity is the mother of invention. I was not going to be able to sell in the traditional manner at that time after I left my first self-employed project. And it was painfully obvious that I was going to go nowhere if that's the way things were. But by developing a strategic alliance with a company that provides the services that I offer, I was able to overcome that barrier. First and foremost, as business owners, we have to accept the fact, we have to get over the notion, I think, that we should be able to do it all alone. In fact, I work with clients who are new in small business who express this expectation. Of course I should be able to do everything alone. And the answer is no. You may not be able to do everything alone. And most importantly, there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine. But what is important is that you're able to acknowledge that you cannot do everything alone and find the opportunity, the resources, in this case, the strategic alliances, that can help you to get those things done. If we stubbornly stand by the notion that we need to get things done by ourselves, over the course of time, those things that we're unable to do, that we don't know how to do or don't want to do or have the time to do, are going to consume whatever kind of success that we have. So the bottom line here is this: look around, identify what your capabilities are, let go of the ego that says you have to do it alone. Identify those folks who can indeed be strategic alliances with you. Note that you want to have something to offer them in turn. It's not a one-way street. A strategic alliance requires that I give for you, you give for me. The old quid pro quo principle applies here. But look for these things. Don't let your stubbornness get in the way of your success. I hope these ideas are of benefit to you. This is Ed Drozd, the Small Business Doctor, and until next time, I want to wish you a healthy business.